Atlanta, baby, ain't nobody above it. When Atlanta smiles, I love it.
Welcome back to Black Atlas, the podcast, episode 10, y'all. We in the double digits.
Officially, we growing up, y'all.
Yes, I'm really proud of us. I feel like we've been consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you talk about something and you stop talking and you start doing, we doing. All right, so Asia, tell me how you been this week. What's cracking with you?
It's springtime. It is springtime, and I couldn't be happier at all. I'm just thrilled because you can see all the plants that are budding.
Yeah.
I saw a cardinal out in the yard today. I was like, who you visiting? Who is this? Okay, it's good to see you, Grandma. You can head on back. So it's just been really good vibes, you know, overall. So I'm thrilled. What about you?
Same. I had a slumber party with all my little sisters last night, and it's just so refreshing to be around children. You know, they just remind you how simple and joyful things can be when you allow them to be. And so to come into that energy, to come into the spring with that energy, which is what spring is all about. It's about newness and, you know, life blossoming. So I'm excited. I feel like a little flower blossoming out here.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into our city trend. So Asia, what's happening in the city?
All right, guys, we have a lot that is transpiring here in the ATL. First up, we want to talk about how underground Atlanta has been purchased. And if you're like me, yes, it has been purchased before, and we've been waiting for something to happen since they got rid of ghetto nails. But underground Atlanta has been purchased by a 31-year-old businessman named Chanel Lalani. Chanel is the CEO of Billionaires Funding Group and has reportedly been in talks with stakeholders in the community, as well as businesses who are interested in moving in. Lalani says he will open up the underground in 4 phases, but is starting with the food court. I agree with you, Lalani. I think that's where I need to be. Let's open that food court ASAP. Kamea, are you excited about the underground getting back?
I am. Growing up in Atlanta, underground was like a staple in my childhood. You know, like it was always fun to go to underground, and it felt like a whole nother world, you know, and I miss that. I can almost like smell the aromas of and of course it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
But I think that's important for our community to bring that place back to life. I just hope that it, you know, supports local Black businesses. I hope that we bring in food that is healthy for the people and that we utilize the space in a way that uplifts the community and it isn't just so commercial.
I want that as well, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so. So I don't really know how often I'll be there. I'll go check it out, but we'll see. You know, I used to get my shea butter from there.
I got my henna. I always get my henna tattoos from there.
Okay. We'll see if we can get shea butter and henna at the new underground.
So I'm hopeful. I genuinely see this being like another Atlantic Station.
Underground. God, no, we don't need that.
And then I think it'll even be worse because it's right there on the train.
Yeah,
so at least Atlantic Station, they had to put in the time to get a shuttle system to bring people from the train station. But with this one, it is straight, boom, get off at 5 points, you're there. I think it's going to be extremely commercialized.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get a lot of Black people out of the environment. They've already gotten rid of a lot of the misplaced people that don't have shelter. I was just going to say that because that area is really overpopulated with unsheltered people. And it's funny that you're going to come and take this vacant space and do something commercial with it. It could be a home. It could be a really big, dope-ass fucking shelter. Yep.
You know, but that's what's going to happen when we take over the world.
Amen.
Next, we want to talk about a new program being proposed by Atlanta City Councilman Farokhi. It's called the Guaranteed Income Program, and it basically will provide working women in his neighborhood with a guaranteed stipend every month, no strings attached. Let's check out the video.
If we're not trying these things and being ambitious locally, then we'll never know if they're going to work.
Atlanta City Councilman Farokhi is talking about a program called Guaranteed Income, where low-income women are given extra money to help them out of poverty. The money would be above and beyond their work salary or any other subsidies.
Typically, when you see these programs that are well established, they tend to be funded by a national government or a federal government.
But he says his 3-year pilot program would not use taxpayer dollars.
We're proposing a pilot program that would be funded through private philanthropic dollars, not city funds or county funds or state funds.
The Guaranteed Income Program would be for women in his district, the Old Fourth Ward. They would receive anywhere from $200 a month to $700 a month for 3 years. Some of the participants would also have money invested for them. If the program is a success, Farokhi says, at that point, they would need state or federal dollars to expand the program.
This is really about dignity for the most vulnerable, folks who are working their tails off, sometimes in 2 or 3 jobs, but still have a hard time making ends meet at no fault of their own.
Much respect.
I'm here for it. And it's not that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I appreciate his efforts, and I really want to see this program go through. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That extra 200-300, whatever it is, you could really uplift a whole generation with what he's doing. So Farokhi, we support you. Let's make it happen.
Amen. So moving right along, by now you all have heard about the anti-Asian hate crime that took place in the city last month. The tragedy has left some wondering if the city had a role to play in the incident by not cracking down on Atlanta's illicit massage industry. Now, to be clear, we can't confirm that any illegal activity took place at the 3 massage parlors that were attacked last month. However, all 3 of the businesses can be found on a site called Rub Maps. This is a massage connoisseurs use to leave reviews on local massage parlors and detail their experiences. All 3 locations have reviews on Rub Maps where customers describe paying for sexual experiences with staff members. There are several recent reviews for aromatherapy and Gold Spa claiming that full-on sex occurred. Again, we can't confirm anything, but this does not look good. May, do you think that the Atlanta government needs to do more to shut these businesses down? Or is this really like a slippery slope?
So we were having this discussion offline, and I really like the point that you brought up about putting the attention more so on gun control rather than the businesses, because it's really difficult to monitor what's happening in these businesses. And if on paper and on record they look like official businesses, then what is your ground for coming in and shutting them down? It really needs to be focused on policies related to guns. We're really the only country that someone can just walk into a Walmart, get a gun, get no type of background check, walk into 3 different businesses and shoot it up. So I think it's more about gun control than about policing these businesses.
Absolutely. And then a part that I want to further is regardless of what they're doing in this business, these individuals shouldn't have lost their lives.
Right. We don't even, and yes, the conversation does need to be had about illicit sexual activity, because that's real, especially in Atlanta. But regardless of what happened in those facilities, those women, those men should have been safe, period. So my prayers go out to the families and to the business owners as well, because they were also affected, you know, and I know that the suspect is in custody and he needs to get everything he's got coming for him.
Every single
under
thing.
the law and under spiritual law as well.
And if you're having a bad day, like they say this suspect was, sit at home, talk to somebody, call a therapist, call Black Atlas. Just don't go shoot people. Okay?
Yeah.
So that wraps up today's City Trends, and we're going to move right ahead to our BBW.
I like my girls BBW.
Our BBW this week is Kofi. Kofi is a magician based here in Atlanta. We don't hear about magicians very often,
That's
you know,
real,
so that's
yeah.
really freaking cool. And he Black, so let's go. And so he's the perfect entertainment for your kids' party or your next big event. He does magic for kids of all ages and cards, tricks, stage illusions. So go check out his Instagram at magic.atl and show this Black artist some love. That's it for our BBW. Let's go ahead and get into our tea leaf discussion.
All right, so late last year, you might have noticed that a bunch of giant boulders popped up under the bridge along the downtown connector. Those are not decorations. They were placed there by the Georgia Department of Transportation to deter unsheltered people from setting up camps under the bridges. They claimed that as the winter months rolled in, they needed to clear out camps under the highway bridges due to the possibility, listen to this, y'all, due to the possibility of someone starting a fire to stay warm and accidentally losing control of it. What?
According to the Gateway Homeless Center in downtown Atlanta, homelessness in the city has increased by 30% since 2019. So it's an issue that the city is still working on, but I'm not sure if they're doing enough or if they're going the right way. Asia, how do you think the city can go about combating this problem.
We have all these houses. I don't know if you guys ever drive around the city. I just see construction all the time.
Yeah.
All these houses. There's a bunch of people that need houses.
Right.
Couldn't we figure something out with that? I don't know. Like, I'm not handling the money. I don't know all the logistics behind it, but it just seems like that would be the better route to take than spending money on having boulders put there to keep people from finding places to rest, or putting out benches that have humps in the middle of them so that people can't sleep, and just making it uncomfortable for these people who already have an uncomfortable lifestyle to find a little piece of peace.
And I'm finding that this is happening in more places than just Atlanta. A friend of mine who's a filmmaker out in California, he's been documenting the sweeps in LA where they are literally tearing down people's tents and what they have for shelter and wiping them out and removing them. It seems like a very similar situation here. And it's their land, and you should be doing more to support them. So fortunately, Atlanta has seen some improvements recently, thanks to the coronavirus relief package. The city used about $18 million in federal money to launch a housing project with Partners for Homes, a nonprofit in Atlanta. So we ain't got to rag on the city too bad. They doing something, it's good to hear. They've reported that roughly 450 formerly unsheltered individuals have now moved into apartments, many with one-year leases. They have a goal of housing 800 unsheltered people. We are joined today by a remarkable woman, director, editor, producer, Miss Caletta Harris. She is the director of a docu-series called No Address. It is showing now in limited theaters. Just because it's limited don't mean you can't get to it.
Amen.
Find your way to it. So, Miss Harris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm excited.
Could you just start off by introducing yourself? Share with us a bit about who you are.
Well, I am a humanitarian. I love nature. I love humans. And what I do is direct, edit, produce film, documentaries, commercials, promos, sizzles. That's kind of how I started in the video production world. And then in 2013, I transitioned into the film world.
I love the distinction you made between what you do and who you are. You said, I am and I do.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So we wanted to get started by showing the trailer for your documentary series. Is that okay with you?
That is fine.
Yes. All right. We're going to roll that.
We're being harassed. We can't be in the parks. We can't be at the bus transit stations. Law enforcement, they're subject to pull up on us and tell us, hey, you can't sit here, you can't stand there, you have to move on.
They took up all the benches in town so that nobody could sit down anywhere.
I done went to jail down here in Raleigh, North Carolina, 4 times since I've been down here.
I don't think it should be a crime for being homeless.
It's more like out of sight, out of mind.
How do you criminalize somebody's situation?
They're called ordinances, but they're usually city laws that make it a crime to sleep in public, to sit in public, to lie down in public, to sleep in a car, to beg for help, to eat sometimes in public. I mean, they just take a variety of different forms.
Gentrification is the only housing policy that this city has. Atlanta's housing policy is gentrification. That's it.
I want to do more for myself and getting myself out of this homelessness so I can pay for me a home.
But when you have no address, getting just a decent, regular, scheduled job, virtually impossible.
That was nice.
So that's a really powerful trailer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you share what drew you to this series?
Well, I was in my downtown office in Columbia, South Carolina back in 2013, and I read an article in the newspaper, and Columbia City Council wanted to do something about their homeless situation. And they had 3 options. And it was either leave town, go to family, go to the outskirts of town into a shelter or encampment, or be subject to jail if you're caught on the streets. So I was appalled because I would speak to the unsheltered community all the time, just being downtown, where they congregate. So I'm an empath. And I was like, what if that were me and I had to just disappear? Where would I go if I had nowhere to go? So I was like, well, I have a production company and I have all the tools. So let me just start filming what's going on around me. And that's how it started.
So I know that this series follows different cities: Columbia, South Carolina, Atlanta, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And so these are different locations, but we're wondering, what common thread did you see throughout these places?
Lack of affordable housing. That's the common
Can
thread.
you say that again?
Lack of affordable housing.
Wow. Dear Lord.
Yeah, and that's the common problem, which should not be.
Right.
Which should not be. There's so many alternative ways to housing, but, politics involved. So it's not like it can't be done. It's just getting through that red tape.
That line really hit me when she said in the video that gentrification is their solution to this, because I wonder all the time, with us building and constructing all these houses, all these apartments, how do we have unsheltered people?
Exactly.
It's truly politics, it's money, it's greed, it's all of that. So I definitely feel you.
And let me make another point. When these moratoriums lift on the 31st of March, we're going to see an influx. And they are projecting about 40 million people to be on the streets or unsheltered.
Wow.
And unsheltered can mean doubling up, sleeping on someone's couch. It doesn't have to be on the streets per se. But all of that includes, if you don't have a lease, if you don't have an address, then you're considered homeless or unsheltered. And people that owe back rent from, if they didn't pay from March or April of last year, they still owe that. So what the moratorium is going to do, by April 1st, the eviction process is going to start.
Wow. Yeah, April 1st is days away.
It's days away. So that's when these evictions are going to start.
So you mentioned some alternatives. What are some of those?
Well, my ultimate solution is to have land, to obtain land to build sustainable communities for the unsheltered. And what does that look like? That looks like tiny homes, still homes, container homes, because container homes are awesome because they can withstand Category 5 hurricanes. Any type of still home can withstand a natural disaster. And I want to be able to have that foundation where nonprofits and people that are boots on the ground can actually have somewhere to have their services. And then I want to also incorporate organic farming because I'm a farmer and sustainability, mind, body, and spirit aligned, and then create entrepreneurs within that. So people don't have to beg for a job. They can become entrepreneurs through agriculture. So that's what I want to do. And a lot of the people here that are boots on the ground are begging for a seat at the table with the corporations to say, let's collaborate. My efforts, I'm always here. Let me tell you what the people need, but they're not trying to listen to that. So I say, forget them. Let me create that foundation.
That is my motive. That is my answer to everything.
Everything.
The school system, the food, everything. I just say we need our own.
We do. And I mean, legislature is good. That's why I thought that's where we can really create change. And it is. There's things on the books for affordable housing and housing as a human right. But, that takes time. That's a whole process. But we gave the government centuries to do this, and it's getting worse. So it's going to take us to collaborate and be the change we want to see.
Yes. So you're raising money for that land fund.
And I am raising money for the land fund, donations, land, because in South Carolina, the land is cheap, But I want the people to come together with me, not me just doing it all by myself. And okay, well she did it, now we can do it. No, because there's more value when you collaborate. So I funded the documentary. I brought the awareness because that's the first thing I wanted to do was bring awareness first. Let people know exactly what's going on in the backyards of America because a lot of people have these stereotypes of what homelessness looks like, but it looks like all of us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? There's no more stereotypical unsheltered person, So That's what I wanted to break down. It can be anybody. And then with these moratoriums, it's going to be your neighbor. It's going to be your cousin. It's going to be, so now you're going to start thinking about it. Like, we need to build something. We need to have sustainability for these people, you know? So that's what I'm trying to do, is work with the land. South Carolina first, then Georgia, and wherever else from there.
Can you talk about how people can support this?
You can definitely support by going to noaddressdocumentary.com. Everything's on there. Resources, articles, where to donate, all of that. Contact me. Anything is right there. I'm trying to make it one hub.
That's smart.
You go to, yes.
So we have done some research and have read that houselessness in Atlanta has increased by 30% since 2019. What do you think is the cause of this in Atlanta particularly? Is there anything about the structure of Atlanta that increases these numbers in this way?
Gentrification.
Talk about it. Please expand on that. If someone is not so familiar with gentrification, what does that entail?
So gentrification, it's more of big businesses coming in and taking over properties and land that has been basically owned by the community for a long time. And especially our elders, they're being bribed to get out of the community. A lot of these abandoned buildings they call them ghost houses, where they actually buy these homes and let them sit. Sit there for whatever until the property value raises, and then they go ahead and get a tenant that'll pay $1,500 to $2,000 when it was actually $500 to $700 a month. Because I've heard even in Vine City, a lady was doubling up with someone and trying to save money so she can get an apartment. And back then the apartment was like $600. Now they want $1,000.
Wow.
For the same thing. There's no upgrades. No, nothing's changed.
Right.
Nothing's changed. So this is what's happening, the opportunity zones, all of this. But I say, if you're going to create this, then you need to have alternative. If you're going to have luxury, you need to have supplement with affordable housing at the same rate.
Right.
But who am I?
Right. So when we talk about tactics of displacing unsheltered people, we're seeing different strategies. Here in Atlanta, the Georgia Department of Transportation put some boulders underneath the downtown connector, claiming that the homes would become a fire hazard, right? They come up with whatever excuses. I've seen sweeps happening in LA. Can you talk about these strategies and how they affect the people on the ground?
Yes. These strategies, they call it hostile architecture. And one of my friends, Marshall Ransiford, he's on the ground every single day doing outreach. Every single day. This man is just like a hero to the unsheltered. And he actually supplied the tents for a lot of people under those bridges, the Pryor Street bridges, which you're referring to. And that was to keep people to be physically distanced, because the shelters are overcrowded, all is overcrowded. So he said, if I can bring tents and they can space out, no one has to worry about getting COVID or whatever. So I guess a couple of months later, they came and swept it up. And I think when COVID hit, it was probably like a month or two where law enforcement didn't bother anybody across the country. And then they just picked it back up full force. So they're going to use excuses all day long, but people are going to go, they're like around the corner from there now. You know, people have to have somewhere to stay. So you can't just put architecture up, hostile architecture up, and then say, problem solved.
Right.
There's no thing is problem solved. You have to have an alternative, or at least be able to say, this is where you can go. This is the next step. Give people options.
Right.
But that's not the case. So I say, let it be. I mean, no one's harming each other. No one's doing anything. It's just an eyesore for the community. That's all it is. It's beautification. So if it doesn't look good, then people are going to complain. So,
which is a shame. And that says a lot about how the people who are displacing other people see humanity, or the lack thereof, their inability, that you would rather have a beautiful, pristine street than to just simply look at a brother or a sister who is just in a different situation. That's all.
And let's speak of beautification. I say, why don't you hire the unsheltered to clean up the streets? Because every city in America is filthy. Everywhere you go, there's trash everywhere. Like it's just a big landfill.
Right.
You know? So why don't you hire them? In Texas, they're doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just heard DOT in some state. I have so much information in my head sometimes. But one state I heard, this was actually a couple of days ago, 300,000 positions available.
Wow.
Are you serious? But they can't fill it. But you won't go to the unsheltered.
Right.
All right.
So
but then those are the day laborers that you hire to build the whole city, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I digress.
Can you tell us what's next for you?
What's next is Atlanta. So Atlanta is actually going to be an episodic within itself. I have way too much information and I don't want to slide it. So I think I'm going to do like a 3-part series, and the first is going to be COVID, and I'm going to say pandemic versus pandemic, because both of them are, I think. And the other one is going to focus on shelters, the inside scoop.
Okay.
And the other one is going to be on housing. So that's where I'm going to go with that. And then we're going to go back to California because so much has changed. I've already been there. I went to Skid Row, and that's like hell on earth. I've never seen anything like that in my life, where you have like 10,000 people in a 5-block radius in a cesspool of ish. It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And I'm like, and it's 8 miles from Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills. You can see it from Skid Row, right? And then I'm looking at the people going and shopping in these stores, and the patrons are just walking over bodies like they don't even exist. And this is normal there. I don't understand. But a lot has changed since the pandemic. So I'm going to go back and get some stories and get the people that's boots on the ground and organizations. So that's the next thing. And then after that, I'm going to pretty much stop unless people want me to go in their city, and I will expose that as well.
Please expose all of America.
Right.
And then take it on to the British. Let's go on and expose them and just keep it going.
It's all over the world. It's all over the world. And it's just trickling down to the States. Like, this has already been happening. And yeah, we're not going to go there of how they're not even acknowledging it. But after that, then I'm just going to focus on the foundation, No Address Foundation, and building these communities. I want to be a part of the solution, not just talk about the destitute and everything. I want to be a part of the solution.
I love that, because making a film is important, but it doesn't have to stop there, and you've shown us that. So thank you for your work. Thank you for your craft, for your commitment. Before we wrap it up, I'd like to ask you, is there anything on your heart that you would like to share?
I would like everyone to watch the documentary, to get educated first on what's going on, and then that's going to spark some change, because there's a lot of call to action in it. So stay tuned. No Address, documentary.com.
All right.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Thank you.
I feel great. I feel amazing today.
So for our What the Health discussion this week, I was inspired by a passage that I read last night from African Holistic Health. It's a book by Dr. Africa. This blew my mind. He was talking about how menstruation is not normal in women, and that African women did not menstruate. Yeah.
You see my face, because I'm just like, that just seems like it's supposed to be our punishment.
Right, our punishment. Right, okay. So I don't have the book, but I took a picture. So bear with me, I'm going to read some of the passage. Menstruation is not normal in a healthy woman. Menstruation is the hemorrhaging and flow of fresh blood. Hemorrhaging, whether it occurs in the brain, eyes, lungs, or uterus, is not normal. Holistically, Black African females on a diet of natural foods do not menstruate. Anthropological studies on African women have verified that ancient women did not menstruate. This Caucasian myth is subconsciously promoted by women and men. It is not a biological or anatomical fact that hemorrhaging is normal and that blood is sinful and unneeded. It's a science mythology. He goes on to discuss how when African cultures influenced or clashed with Caucasian cultures, they're on a whole different cycle. Like, for example, he says that you're not supposed to have sex at night. I'm not exactly sure why. It's something about the circadian rhythms of the body, right? So between that and then the constant raping of women, the use of condoms and all the chemicals, that basically this menstruation is new for Black women. It's not common in our bodies. So I'm not coming on here and saying, oh, menstruation is bad. No, it happens to us regardless, right? Whether I want it to or not. But what I'm saying is, even if this is true, right, we still bleed excessively as women. Like most of us are bleeding 5, 6. I used to bleed almost 8, 9 days. You know what I mean? Like it was really heavy. And so I want to talk about just between this information that I just shared and this product called Queenie's Kitchen. She's based in Atlanta. I absolutely love her products. I think every woman should get these products. And I also want to say really quickly, I don't think that womb health is just the responsibility of women. Brothers, you can support us too, because it matters in your lives. So this is a gift that you can get for your mother, you can get for your sister, your queen, whoever. This particular product right here, Queenie's Kitchen's Well Woman Tonic, is my absolute favorite. It's really high in vitamins and minerals. It's got organic apple cider vinegar, raw honey, red raspberry, nettles, peppermint, marshmallow root, holy basil. It's so good. It's a tincture.
I can see you use it.
I use it. So you can see I'm low, y'all. I use this regularly. It's a tincture. You just put it right under your tongue. You go about your day. She makes it with apple cider vinegar and honey. So it's really good for the womb. Then I have these 2 teas here. This is one that you take during your cycle, and this is one that you take a few days before. And I can attest that this helps with my cramps. Since I've been using these products, my cycle has been much lighter. And so, you know, between working with these products and reading this passage, I'm just thinking about a day. Imagine that we can get back to that. Imagine where we're so liberated from this oppressive society and the biochemical influence of this oppressive society that we don't bleed no more.
Absolutely.
That's liberation.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's my what the hell tip of the day. Go ahead and check out Queenie's Kitchen on Instagram. We're going to drop a link to her website and her Instagram below. Ladies, gentlemen, all of us, take care of the womb. That wraps up our what the hell topic for this week. We're going to move into our more to go.
Baby, I'ma be a motivation.
All right, y'all. So mine isn't as detailed or well researched as our health tip this week, but I do think it's still very important. So for this week's Mo to Go, it's not like a catchy phrase, but whoever you've been thinking of, reach out to them. I know that might sound very basic, but that's been something on my soul, on my heart, and my mind. It's really from my grandma and my auntie, but I know that there's a lot of people that I've been thinking about recently, and the way that I operate is when I think about someone, there's a purpose behind it. Like I'm supposed to connect with them. It's a reason, because this sounds bad, but I just don't think about too many people that often because I'm usually in contact with the people that I interact with regularly. So when it's someone that I haven't spoken to and they just keep crossing my mind, I take that as a sign from the universe that like I'm supposed to get in touch with them. But unfortunately, in the social media world that we live in, a lot of times I use it as an excuse. Like I don't actually need to call this person. I know what they're doing. They're on a vacation right now. I just saw them on IG an hour ago. And so a lot of the times I'm actually very disconnected. I can tell you what I see based on your social media, but I don't know how you're feeling. I don't know what's going on in your personal life or anything that you aren't disclosing to the public. And so really, whoever is on your heart, on your mind, on your soul, reach out to them. I think a lot of us take each day for granted. And in my own life right now, I'm really seeing, I think everyone has seen throughout COVID, quarantine, all of that, that tomorrow's not promised. So please take the time, pick up your phone, make a visit. If you have to fly out, just make other people a priority in your life and let them know that they're a priority. Unfortunately, a lot of the time we wait to give people their flowers after they're gone. Reach out, let them know that they made an impact on your life. Let them know that you've been thinking about them and check in with them. That's our Mo to Go, short and simple. Whoever's on your mind, reach out, call them. And that'll help us move right along to our Lift Every Voice.
Lift every voice and sing.
Ashe, thank you for that Mo to Go, Asia. So the voice that we are lifting up this week is young Baby Tate. You probably know her. She's a young rapper and singer from Decatur. She signed to Issa Rae's label. Come on. Radio. Okay. I like that.
Issa Rae Radio.
I like that. And she just put out a new video with Flo Milli called I Am. Let's check it out. Yes.
Ooh, I love this song. I mean, literally, that is my gym song. That is my on the way to work song. I tell myself I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that. I don't call myself that, but I am
Yeah, I was
that.
like, that's the one part where I ain't going to say that. But I love all the other affirmations, sis. I'm
Everything
here for
else,
the
I don't call
affirmations.
myself that one. But I just feel the energy. I love it. I think it's a trap inspirational song.
Mm-hmm,
And I think that's
which
what
is
we
rare.
miss. Yes. Like,
I heard you made your own version of that song.
Oh.
Are we going to get to hear it on the show? Right now? Live?
That was between us. That wasn't even what I posted on my IG because I was like, oh, this is mad corny.
Yo, I think the people want to hear it. Drop the link, sis. Drop the link.
Yeah, so I do little remixes, and I genuinely love that song. I love the motivation and the energy that it gives me. So I did a remix for my kids because we just kicked off hybrid at my school.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the kids were nervous. Even the teachers, I'm not going to lie, like a lot of us were very nervous coming back into the school. So based on how that song and the beat makes me feel, instead of I am, like Young Baby Tate's version, I did we are. And it's basically like we are safe. We are healthy. We are safe. We are going to stay that way. And so it goes based on the same thing. So you my inspiration, girl, because I be booming it. And now my kids are booming it. They just don't know your version. But I love it, girl. I do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it, girl. But yes, y'all. So please make sure that you follow Young Baby Tate on Instagram. It is at Young YUNG Baby and then Tate TATE. And make sure you stream her new project After the Rain.
All right, y'all. That's it for episode 10 of the Black Atlas podcast. Follow Atlanta Decoded on Instagram, and we will see you next week. Yeah.